You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host, Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts, Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
You are listening to The Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, the Friday, March 12th virtual show. You can also catch us on podcast or on air on Saturday at 3 p.m. with a rebroadcast on Sunday at 8 a.m. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We bring into studio each week the best of the best experts in our local market on everything regarding your money. We are here to help you in today's economy. And now in studio, Holli Margell of Native Light Photography, how to hire the best photographer for your social reputation, right here on 1150 AM KKNW.
Holly, my first question to you would be, I know sometimes professionals get confused about the timing on when they should get photographs. You know, they think they need to maybe be established or, those type of things. So in your opinion, when's the right time for yourself to get professional photographs or get some pictures for your business, of course?
Yeah, it's a wonderful question. And really, it's a matter of when are you ready to invest in yourself? When are you ready to invest in your business? You don't exist if you don't have photos online these days. So if you are going to open up shop, that's the time to start. That's the time to get your headshot or your branding images, or even, you need a storefront photo if you're a brick and mortar shop.
And if you are listening to the show today and you want to know how to find the best photographer, she is right here, right now. Holly, I'd love to ask you, what questions should people be asking to know that they have actually found the best photographer, or what should they be looking for to know that they found the best of the best?
Yeah, so I wanted to share a famous quote because this is the best way to answer this question. And the quote actually comes from Ansel Adams, and he said something along the lines of, for every photograph, there are two parts, the photographer and the viewer. So the way I relate that to hiring a photographer is you've got to find someone that you feel a connection with or that you feel like you can trust, because you have to be vulnerable to be photographed, right? It's kind of an intimate experience. So find someone you're comfortable with, you have a good rapport with. You need to at least have a phone conversation to have that kind of discernment opportunity. And then of course there's your budget. And frankly, there's so much talent out there at every price point. So find someone you connect with first, someone whose work you love, and then what fits for your budget.
That makes a lot of sense. And as a human, Holly, so much information in a photograph or a video. As a business owner, you see one picture and they say a picture says 1,000 words. It's true. You get a feeling when you see a picture, unlike just a statement. So what a necessity for any business or professional. In your opinion, how do you use professional photographs to elevate your online reputation?
Yeah, so great question. For me personally, I'm a photographer, so I don't need to show myself so much. I need to show examples of my work, right? That's like the strongest thing. But then in this day and age, especially I'd say in the last 2 years, being present in my business is important. And it's so funny, I feel uncomfortable in front of the camera. And so I've had to hire other photographers to capture behind the scenes, me working with clients. And then I've had to get really good at like taking a professional timed selfie with the pro gear because of the distance needs and whatnot, availability of other photographers. So I like to show my work. I like to show how I interact with clients.
Isn't that interesting? But it makes sense for the person that's behind the camera. They might be the ones that don't want to be in front of the camera as much. So that makes sense. So what should someone do to prepare for a professional photo shoot?
Yes. So it all comes down to self-care, honestly. You know your body the best. So if you're the type of person who likes to get facial waxing, or you're somebody who shaves, you have facial hair, you need to shave, you know what the best timing is for that. So schedule out your self-care so you really shine and you're going to feel confident and like you look your best. I recommend for example, haircuts, to schedule your haircut 1 to 2 weeks before your photo session. That way it gives you a little bit of time to settle it, get used to styling it, especially if you're going for a change. And then if you're going to get a facial, notice your skin. Do not get your first facial the day of your photo shoot. That actually happened once. And so self-care. And then try to get a good night's sleep the night before. I know it can be hard, but that goes a long way. And hydration.
And I was going to say, yeah, just when you said try to get a nice sleep and don't stress out, because when you stress out, you don't look as good and you're not going to be relaxed and be able to be your best in front of the camera. So I like how you said, get a nice, great sleep, do some meditation, little inspiration before your photographer gets there and you'll be all good. Right, Holly?
Yes.
I like how you said what makes you feel good too, because everybody feels good in something else. So something that you feel good in. I mean, I love this sweater. Another person would be like, ugh, that sweater. So don't try to be somebody else. Be yourself. That's really great advice. And when you feel like you look good, it exudes from you, which I can imagine translates into fantastic photos. So what great advice. Speaking of this sweater, what the heck should you wear during a photo shoot?
Yeah, so this question's wonderful, and it's something that I always include in a consultation. So I ask clients, what are your branding colors? What is your business logo? What does it look like? Because we can play with colors in your wardrobe to kind of reinforce and exemplify like who you are and your personality. So what should you wear depends on your industry. If you're, for example, a landscaper, you're always in coveralls or overalls, wear that to your photo shoot, but make sure they're clean. Right? However, if you're a corporate attorney, show up like you do with clients in the courtroom. Make sure you've got a nice pressed dress shirt, and maybe you have a fun tie that exemplifies or amplifies, I mean, your branding colors.
Yeah, I've had a lot of professional photo shoots in my career and the multiple businesses that I own. And I've used the images in a lot of different platforms, even when one's been taken for something else, whether I brought it into my keynote speaking page or I've then used the same one for additional pictures on my coaching website. What other creative ways can you repurpose and reuse these photos?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I love seeing people use their photos in different ways. One of the ways I like to think of your headshot, your professional portrait, is think of it like your company logo or your business logo. Where are you putting those? And then can you add an image? I know someone who's a wealth advisor, and besides sending out the postcard with an annual reminder about something, she includes her headshot on there. And that just really stands out in the mail. You get these mailers, and if there's just, branded imagery on there, you're like, toss, and you're like, oh, I remember her. I never recall, right? It connects you right away. So postcards, they're not a lost art. As well as anytime you're on social media, photos really catch attention. So if you want to share an update or an inspirational quote or something like along those lines, add your photo.
That's
And
great.
postcards, and sorry, Keelan,
Oh,
postcards in mail, it's not a lost art because majority are not doing it. So why not stand out and actually have something that physically comes in the mail? They can look at, it's colorful. And oh, by the way, it has your picture there from your professional photography photo shoot that you did. So yeah, great suggestions, Holly.
I was going to ask you, Holly, obviously nowadays where you take the most pictures of yourself is going to be on your social media. People post everything on there. And a lot of times, the photos come out a little bit blurry. Give me some advice on how you sharpen that up.
Oh, this is such a fun question because I actually teach people how to do better cell phone photography.
Nice.
So, figure out how to use your cell phone. Figure out what the tools are. So, on the iPhone, for example, the easiest thing is to press first exactly where you want it to focus and then take the photo. Because what it does is it automatically focuses on you and it also adjusts the lighting. Now, Samsung and other Android type cameras have different tools built in, but play with it. Figure out what is it? Is it that you're too close? If you're too close, often that's the most common issue when you get a blurry selfie.
It's so funny that you asked that question, Keelan, because I obviously didn't have the best of the best photographer for this photo shoot. It was for for my book when my book was launched. And if I knew you, Holly, I would have called you. The pictures came back and they were beautiful pictures. I wanted to have it out at a remote and abandoned railroad, and so he got the perfect place. However, it was one of those Seattle days where it wasn't sunny, but the sun was in the clouds, and so my eyes were were all squinted in some of the pictures that I love the most. So I brought it back to Victoria, our director of marketing, and she had me turn to the exact side that I was, where my eyes were looking like this. She took my phone and she took a picture of my eyes, and then she actually replaced my eyes of that picture onto the actual picture the photographer took. So it was awesome. My book looks amazing. The combination of Victoria stepping in, but another reason why you want to have the best of the best to make sure that they capture everything that you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and actually, I was going to ask you a question. I just kind of went on a little story there. So, how should you decide the photos that you should use, Holly?
Yeah, so it depends on your purpose, right? What do you want to say to the world? And think in terms of like your photos are reinforcing and supporting your words. So, what is it that you want to say? What do you want to share? How do you want to connect with people? Those determine the kinds of photos that you want to capture with your photographer. So, for example, let's say you're a coach or a therapist. I'm going to pick on Kathy here a little bit. She might want to show people like what it's like in her space when they can meet in person again. What does that look like? What does the room look like? Maybe she's sitting there and you have a model stage to look like a client shooting over the shoulder of the client to see Kathy's smiling or calm, peaceful, focused face, taking notes, something along the lines of that. It just reinforces your story.
I love this creativity exuding from you. You can see the passion right now, and I'm already like picturing it, and which is what you want your people to do too. You want them to picture them sitting there and kind of visualizing what that's like, because it's something that's going to attract them to your business. So, what a smart move, Holly. What about free stock photography? Are we allowed to use free stock photography?
You can, but I will say that always caution people with that. There have been a lot of issues with people stealing images for their free stock library that they offer the public. So I would say if you're going to use one, make sure it's a reputable company that has really good reviews. Maybe they have a paid section and then a free section. That means that they probably have a staff that's vetting the images and verifying that they are truly free to use.
You know, we see that a lot. We work with a lot of fantastic agents and, of all kinds, new, the best of the best. And we always have to tell them a little bit about that, because sometimes they just get free with blasting images out there, and you can end up in some pretty hot water for that.
Yeah, it can be very expensive in the long run.
Yeah, and speaking of real estate agents and real estate markets, sometimes if you're not working with the best agent, they think they can go a little bit not as a lower investment on homes, and they're going to get less value. So if you think about that, in the hottest real estate market that I've been in my 26 years, that homes will sell less money if you don't have the best of the best images, even though it's such a hot market. And that would be the same, Holly, with us and how we're presenting ourselves in our marketing material on our website, correct?
Yes, it shows. It really shows whether you're invested in yourself or not.
Yes, yeah. Be invested in yourself and connect with Holly for your images so people see the lovely person that you are from first glance and share your gift with the world.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Keelan.